listen to Bill O'Reilly with his fake outrage about, in this case, about how could they think the Tea Party guys are racist or even right-wing or Republican? No, no, no. Let's watch.
The Tea Party and media corruption. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Ever since the Tea Party protests began last summer, the left-wing media in America has been attacking the movement. At first, Tea Party folks were labeled stupid, too dumb to understand complicated issues. Then, as the protests grew, some in the media actually began calling the Tea Party people dirty names, trying to diminish the movement with vile innuendo. Finally, the media turned to ideology, saying that many Tea Party people are racist and far-right cranks. Now comes a new poll from Gallup that says 43% of Tea Party supporters in the USA are independents, 8% Democrats, and 49% Republicans. When you add 43 and 8, you get 51%. That means the majority of Tea Party supporters in the USA are not Republicans. Also, Gallup says that 55% of those supporting the Tea Party are in the higher income brackets, an interesting stat. Nevertheless, liberal media people and politicians continue their vicious attacks on the Tea Party.
The Tea Party people are kind of like without robes and hoods. They have really shown a very hardcore, angry side of America that is against any type of diversity. And we saw opposition to African Americans, hostility toward gays, hostility to anybody who wasn't just, a clone of George Wallace's fan club. And I'm afraid they've taken over the Republican Party.
Well, again, with 51% of Tea Party supporters non-Republican, according to Gallup, Congressman Cohen is either misinformed or a pinhead, or perhaps both. You may have seen me and Bernie Goldberg discuss media corruption, not bias, outright corruption, last week on The Factor. And the Tea Party media situation is the best example of that. From the jump, the Tea Party protesters never had a chance. As soon as they objected to President Obama's big government vision, the left-wing media swooped in. And as you know, liberals dominate the national media in this country. So the loon label was quickly applied to the Tea Party people, and some Americans are buying it. But not as many as you might think. Gallup now says 28% of Americans do support the Tea Party, 26% oppose it, and 38% do not support or oppose, which means there's a persuasion option here. And that's why the left-wing media is so biased against the Tea Party. They fear more Americans will sign on. Now, it's not the job of the media to engineer political thinking in this country, and that's what's happening in some quarters. If you oppose the Obama administration, you must be demeaned and neutralized. That is corruption, and there's no doubt it is in play.
Oh, my favorite part of that was the rich irony at the end when he said, it's not the job of the media in this country to engineer political thinking. That's Fox News' job. I mean, that is exactly what you do. You do it every single day. You're the one that fed the Tea Party guys all that stuff. I mean, Glenn Beck did the 9/12 protest. Fox News hyped it up. There was producers on the scene. We showed the video behind the cameras going, okay, applaud now, applaud. What, political engineer political thinking? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's a classic case of projection. That's exactly what they do at Fox News, so they pretend that the rest of the media does that for liberal causes. Please. Where is this liberal media that he's talking about? I don't see it at all. Anyway, so another great example of that is in the beginning of the clip. He's like, look, there's a poll that says 43% of the teabaggers, I'm sorry, that is a vile innuendo. Okay, they called them dirty names by suggesting that people would put their sacks on other people's faces. Dirty, vile. Okay, I love that it took them months to figure that out. You know, a lot of the right-wingers are like, well, yeah, teabaggers, what do you mean? Like, what, that's what it means? All right, anyway, he's like 43% are independent, 8% are Democrats, 49% are Republicans. Come on, dude, come on. I mean, look, Glenn Beck calls himself an independent. You know, Bill O'Reilly calls himself an independent. They say they're not Republicans. Those 43% aren't independents. Of course they're right-wingers. Of course they are. They just like to call themselves independent because, to their credit, they're a little sick of the Republican Party. For some reasons, because some they think they're not right-wing enough, which I think is crazy. But some are frustrated that the Republicans don't seem to be representing them. They're representing corporate interests instead. And that part is true, okay? So, but they're not calling themselves independent because if you put 43 and 8 together, in fact, most of them are liberals. No, come on. It's absurd to say that. And so as far as this, O'Reilly's main talking point here, which is that they're not at all right-wing, and I don't know what Steve Cohen's getting all upset over. Well, if you saw all the right-wing websites who were, going crazy over this, and their commenters that had, some of which had vile comments, as I explained before, the people posting that, they're not responsible for the comments, but it gives you a sense that it's not crazy to think that some people in the movement, yes, are racist, anti-Semitic, and prone to violence, because that's exactly how they reacted to this news story. So that's the double irony of the story. Now, Hannity, that irony is apparently also missed on Hannity. Hannity's also going to talk about this. He's going to go with a very similar talking point. What are you guys talking about? The Tea Party guys, they're not Republicans. What do you mean? What do you mean? They're right-wing? Who said that? And by the way, one other thing. Steve Cohen implied there that some of the Tea Party movement was racist. O'Reilly comes back and says, what do you mean? They're not right-wing. Why, O'Reilly? We didn't say that. Those are two different things, right? I guess you're assuming that right-wing equals racist. Interesting. I didn't say it. You did. All right, let's go to Hannity.
Now, meanwhile, Democrats in Congress can't seem to stop talking about the Tea Party nation. Now, last week, one representative compared members of the Tea Party movement to segregationists, and then there is this.
Tea Party people are kind of like without robes and hoods. They have really shown a very hardcore, angry side of America that is against any type of diversity. And we saw opposition to African Americans, hostility toward gays, hostility to anybody who wasn't just, a clone of George Wallace's fan club. And I'm afraid they've taken over the Republican Party.
And joining me now with reaction to all of this, Fox News contributors and expert Democratic pollsters Pat Goodell and Doug Schoen. Here's the latest polls out. 40% of members of the Tea Party movement are Democrats and independents. So is he calling them Klansmen too?
He's just wrong, because the Tea Party movement represents fiscal conservatives who want to return to core principles. That's America.
That's America. Thank you.
Yes. And
Pat?
Let me just say, as a white Southerner who grew up in the Civil Rights Movement, this use of race, saying that everyone who opposes us is a racist, is dangerous and awful and is repugnant. Well, this whole problem on the budget, what these people are saying is the country's disappearing. Stop this. These attacks for the party of the people, I keep saying for the party of the people to be attacking the people the way we do and telling we know better and you're stupid and you're a bunch of yahoos is insane.
I love those Democratic Uncle Toms on Fox News. They're like, yeah, sir. Oh, totally, Hannity, sir. You're right, sir. Democrats are terrible, sir. Tea Party's great, sir. And you know what? I tell you what, sir. They're the best Americans ever in the world, sir. And then, again, with the misleading so-called fact of, well, 40% of the Tea Party people say they're either Democrats or independents. Well, the Democrats are kind of a tiny, tiny percentage of that. Giant portion of Republicans posing as independents, but nonetheless, we'll throw that fact out there. Yes, look, why did Steve Cohen say that? Why do we think that there are some people who are racist within that movement? One, all the different signs for the last year that were racist that we've shown you on the show over and over. Now, look, are those signs representative of everybody that goes to those protests? Of course not. And I've said that a million times, right? But is it representative of the guys who held those signs and the people who didn't ask them to put it away? Sure. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's incumbent on everybody to get up in everybody else's business about their signs. Don't get me wrong on that. But those guys brought, I mean, that's where it came from. It's not like it came from nowhere. But it was amplified recently, and the reason why we're having this conversation, because as the congressional Democrats were walking in for the health care bill vote, several of them were called the N-word. One of the black representatives, Emmanuel Cleaver, was spit upon. Barney Frank was called the F-word. I mean, this stuff it's reported, it's real, and so, but they want to avoid that. They want to pretend it didn't happen.